Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Crusader Kings 2 with the Historical Immersion Project as Aragon. In the last episode we were just called into this Jihad on the defensive side by our allies in Sicily, which is kind of unfortunate because we are waiting to be at peace so we can form our empire, but that's okay, we can maybe help them out. It's not clear whether they really need the help right now. Judging by the numbers of troops here, it looks like our allies are slightly ahead in terms of numbers, but we could go over and help. We'll just unpause for the moment and let it run for a while and see how things seem to be going. It is 10% against us currently, just from battles so far. There's one occupation as well. But that's okay. I guess that's up here. Is that right? Yeah. So really they should assault that one back quickly. Oh, and here is a battle starting. It looks like the enemy has the hills advantage, but if these reinforcements arrive in short order, it might be good enough to swing it. We'll see. Ooh, it is going to be a close one. But it looks good. Okay. So it looks like our help isn't going to be needed in Sicily, at least just yet. We could take a sort of offensive approach and maybe bring troops over to the Muslim lands. It seems like the Seljuks are the primary antagonist here. Though that means we would have to take our troops for maximum effectiveness all the way to the capital over here in Persia. But that is going to mean a lot of walking through these mountainous and desert counties, which is going to be annoying at best. So I'm not sure if we really want to do that. The other war we're in, of course, is with Alba. They're having a host invasion, which is not going too well for the invader. So it shouldn't be too much longer before that one's over. They should be taking this occupation back anytime now. We had a new duke. And I don't think this is in the de jure Kingdom of Sicily. Oh no, it is. Shows what I know. It's not like I just played a game where I formed the Kingdom of Sicily or anything. My uncle asked me for a fief of his own to govern. Let's mention a church career. So it is in Sicily, so this is preventing our side from getting any ticking war score while they have occupied land there. So once this is won back, we might be getting a ticking war score in our favor. But we'll see. I guess we could just walk some troops across. It looks like some of the vassals down here are involved in the Jihad, maybe? Or not. And I'm not sure why we're seeing the glowing outlines here. This guy's involved. So we could just walk an army down and siege his lands, which might help a little bit. Our daughter needs an education. No, we don't right-click on things. I'm playing the my India game at the same time, and that is the newer version of the game with the updated diplomacy interface where you right-click on people all the time, and I'm kind of having trouble switching back and forth between them, which is kind of annoying, but not really a big deal. I guess we could use her for opinion if we have any dukes that aren't too happy. We did just have a new duke inherit somewhere, so he might not be too happy. Maybe he was a minor, actually. I'll just give her to Aragon. I don't think he's especially powerful, but he is a duke. Recently I've taken my ward with me when I travelled around the country visiting different villages, castles and cities. I constantly explain to my ward how people trade, what sort of crops we grow on the land, and so on. Okay, so he's going to gain some stewardship. 1, which is fine. It looks like there's a Muslim army up here. A relatively sizable one. Not big enough to outnumber our allies' armies, though. And yes, we're now getting 18% ticking war score for King Roger still controlling Sicily, which is good. Looks like we aren't going to have to get involved in this. Ooh, that battle could turn nasty, though. Okay, Alba won his war, though. That's good. And the Pope likes me. Oh, it looks like I thought this was reinforcing, but they didn't. Looks like they're just dancing around that battle for some reason. Alright. Our truce is expiring with the Queen of Leon, formerly Castile. Which is interesting. Since we usurped the Kingdom of Castile, of course, I think that gives us a de jure claim to take a whole duchy. In fact, most of her kingdom is in that duchy. So I guess we could do that. Probably after we form the Empire, though. Okay, the Duke of Catalunya Nueva likes me more. That's Granada. He's my Chancellor. He's at 100 then, so we can move our Chancellor. Actually, maybe the opinion map mode is an easier way to do this. We can find the grumpy dukes better that way. So let's see. This duke is not particularly happy, though also we do have to refer to the realm tree to see who has the most power, so maybe it doesn't really make things that much easier. Sevilla might be the best target, actually. So we'll send him down there. Looks like another Muslim army down here, which is about to get caught. Seems like they're going to lose their Jihad just by sending over little armies a piece at a time instead of one big army, which might give them a chance. Well, that's okay. We'll just wait for it to be over. Let's go to speed 4, I suppose, while we're waiting. And the one other important thing I want to keep paying attention to is how old my son is, because we want to make sure that we give him to somebody with a better education trait when he's close to coming of age. I'm starting to think my courtier might fancy me. Let's not. Oh, okay, and the Jihad has ended in white peace. That's fine. The greatest, it seems, does not favour the Muslim faithful after a string of defeats and setbacks. The Caliph has called off the Jihad for Sicily against King Roger. Pathetic. Alright then, but that should leave us open to create the Empire. Creating this title will give us 1200 prestige, it cost me 891 gold and 400 piety, all of which we can afford. So let's do it. Let's see what lovely colour our country turns. Became a nice shade of yellow. Okay. Well, that's great. So, also increased our domain size. Which means that we could potentially build another castle. Sure, why don't we? A celebratory castle. Still leaves us with a pretty sizable amount of money. You realize the egg you're eating is a cock egg, that is, an egg without a yolk. The peasants say such eggs are laid by cocks, hence their lack of a yolk. They say if the cock egg were to hatch, it would hatch a great evil monster, the cockatrice. A gigantic, fearsome, big cock monster. Cocks are very strange. Okay, so we get extra diplomacy and health. I don't think that's biologically sound, but it is funny, so I'll allow it. Okay, we can declare the de jure war then for Castile. That might be a good first choice. We can also claim the other duchies because they're part of our de jure empire. Similarly, we could also declare war on Galicia. 4 whole duchies. But why don't we start with Leon? If our truce is over, which I think it is. So we'll take the Duchy of Castile. Or the County of Castile, which is actually a duchy. It will cost us 50 prestige because we're allied, of course, but that's fine. Let's see if we can call in Galicia. Oh, I guess we can't. That's fine. Our vassals are still a little grumpy about us having had their levies raised before, but that's alright. We'll just raise them again. What's the worst thing they could do? Just want you to maybe come this way instead. And we'll disband this army. Also worth noting that forming the empire has raised our vassal limit somewhat, which is useful. Oh, King Roger of Sicily was murdered on the orders of somebody? Emeline de Houtville? A relative of his, anyway. And my daughter arrived at my court. I guess she was married to him, yeah. And the Queen has called a count in on her side of the war. Which is not of great concern to me. Let's get our army on the way up. We can try and fight them. A visitor. You have received a visitor, a monk from the famous Great Abbey at Cluny. He tells you that the monks there spend much of their days in devoted prayer and that they always mention the names of the most pious Christians in those prayers. If you would demonstrate your immense piety by donating a large sum of gold, would surely be among those presents in the monks' prayers. So 300 gold. For 100 prestige and 100 piety? That doesn't really seem worth it, but maybe there's some sort of follow-up to this event. I guess we can spare it. We aren't spending any money right now to support any of these troops because they all belong to my vassals. Okay, the Pope likes me. Just to check, we are on primogeniture succession as we should be. I guess we inherited the laws properly from the Kingdom of Aragon. We could change some of our crown laws, I guess, but I don't think we really need to. Going to max centralization is something we could actually do. We can spare the vassal limit now. So why don't we do that? I don't think there's any reason not to. We're basically losing 5 from our vassal limit. Will get us up to 23. We could, if we have to, create some vassal kings in Castile and Galicia. Actually, the de jure kingdoms, of course, up here are pretty small, so we could create a vassal king of Navarra, which actually wouldn't really reduce our domain size at all, since that's the same as the duchy. I think this duchy is de jure part of Castile, though, so we could, you know, put a few dukes together under a king here, and the same in Leon eventually, and also Portugal, I guess. So yeah, and of course increasing our domain size could enable us to build another castle. And who doesn't like building castles? So let's do it. If it becomes a bit too restrictive, we can always go back down to high again. The King of Brittany wants to marry his heir to my half-sister. Sure. Sounds good. Okay, so we're gonna fight their army now. Let's see, we do have some decent characters in charge, so that's fine. Not that it makes too much of a difference, we had a huge number advantage anyway. Okay. We are now completely centralized. Recently I've taken my ward with me when I traveled around the country, again, so we can gain more stewardship. Which is good. Once we inherit as him, we'll have to try and lose Craven, if possible. Since that's not a good trait to have. Looks like Galicia is suffering some kind of internal strife. So we'll try and fight this army if we can. Don't think we really need to worry about terrain or anything. We have them pretty vastly outnumbered. Though they are quick. And then we'll just start sieging. Or sieging more holdings, rather. The enemy's nowhere to be found. So we don't really want to do that, or execute the whole family. We'll just leave them be, I think. And I think we can spread out a bit. It is going to take us a few sieges to actually get to 100% war score, I think, so we may as well spread out and siege several things simultaneously. Monks from the nearby monastery have been stopping by to trade for supplies quite often lately. They usually linger to talk and exchange knowledge. Okay. We can gain cynical, or we can possibly gain 1 learning. So let's do that. And we did. Okay. Oh, right, so this was my kinsman. Was this the guy who was formerly king of Hungary, I think? So it looks like he's really fallen from grace. No longer even a duke. Arranged marriage from the King of France. He wants to marry the Prince of France to my daughter. We'll allow that. I think we're already allied with France. Maybe we weren't, or he would have possibly called us into whatever war this is previously. So he wants us to fight our other ally, the King of Alba. Okay. I'll accept. My kinswoman died a natural death. Alright, the new Pope likes me. I want to improve my image as Emperor. If everyone knows me as a great ruler, it will be much easier for me to achieve my ambitions. Thus, I want to be known as a great ruler because of my glory and honor, possibly giving me brave or gregarious. We are already gregarious, so only brave would be an improvement there. Or we can be just or charitable. We're already just. Piety could give us zealous or chaste, or we can become cruel or cynical with this one. I think we want to try and take the 35% chance to become brave. And we did. Good. And we gained a tithe. Alright, well, we finished another siege or two. We'll clap the leader in irons. And leave them be in that case. Only gets us up to 72%, and we are out of time for this episode, so we'll have to finish this war next time. So thanks for watching, and join me again then.